Okay. Radhika, so you know, right, what could be healthcare means, like it's related to health. The healthcare, it's saying like caring of health. So as simple as that, we are having different healthcare domains, health policies, health insurance. We could call it as healthcare insurance, health policies, or healthcare related things. All comes under healthcare domain. So I am particularly explaining about US healthcare. So the main thing, like what is exactly the healthcare do and what is 3P concept. So 3P is nothing but there are three P's. That means the one is payer, which is insurance company. One is provider, which is hospitals or ambulatory services or inpatient, outpatient. Every providing whatever they are providing, that comes under as a provider services, and one is patient. So they are the three pillars to have the healthcare. That's why they are called as 3P concept. 3P is nothing but payer, provider, patient. Okay, and so that is the overall concept where we can see a whole healthcare is there. So as I am a patient, I am going to hospital. I am taking the services from the provider, which are hospitals, and instead of paying of me, I am having healthcare policy on behalf of me. Payers like insurance companies are paying on behalf of me. That is the whole concept here.
Okay.
So wherever I am holding a policy, I was sick, I am sick and I am going to have render my services by using healthcare insurance. After render my services, there could be a different guideline. I need to pay somehow deductibles or copay initially. After the rest all can take care by my insurance company. And we have different benefits for there, and we have different surgeries. If we go involved, then there could be a different terminology, different payable thing will be there as per the policy and guidelines. Okay, and coming back to what exactly we do, what this copay and coins deductible and out of pocket. Oops is nothing but out of pocket. So they have called as oops in shorter way. So basically, I was gone an accident. That is an emergency case, and someone is called to ambulatory services, and they have picked me up and they have gone through the hospital. And after an emergency situation in US, they don't take any regulation to take a doctor appointment, take it administration. So they directly go to their emergency ward, and they can admit me as a inpatient if that is accident is severe. So basically, doctor will see the situation of the patient, then he can understand, okay, he's in emergency, then they can start their uh, giving their health, I mean to say services, like putting the oxygen and giving some injections and providing tablets and all. So even nurses are there, they will take care. They don't think he's holding policy or not, because in US they have passed one act, that is Obamacare Act 1996, I think. So that act, as per that act, everyone has to take policy. That means healthcare policy. So that is the reason if you are going to US, especially by studying, or if you are getting H1B or business visa, so we must take insurance before landing to US as per this act. So from that days, uh, Obama is already disclosed this act, and they have passed a GO. That is the reason healthcare is now booming. So they have different healthcare providers, but they always follow HIPAA guidelines. HIPAA is nothing but Healthcare Insurance Portability Accountability Act. As per this act, every insurance must follow this HIPAA guidelines. I'll go through this HIPAA guidelines later, what it could be. And coming back to, okay, so I went hospital. I have gone through the services, and I almost stayed in hospital 2 months. So even they didn't take any pennies from me, or any money from me. So what I could say, because after I'm realizing that, okay, I got an accident. I was in coma. After that, okay, wherever I can speak, right? Or else our parents will be there. Once they are back, the doctors or administrative department can approach. He's holding any insurance or not. So once yes, we are holding an insurance, then they can provide one particular number, that is insurance number. And in US, there will be a like SSC number. I could say that is the Aadhaar number for them. So as per SSN, so Social Security number. So as per the Social Security number, this insurance policy will be linked with that SSN number. Where we are having Aadhaar right now, therein they called as SSN. So every US citizen or even we are going to there, then we need to have SSN number could be registered, where everything is linked to that SSN number, even our driving license, insurance, and all. So while we search in open portal, then we can get what are the insurance details we are having right now. I mean to say that person who got an accident, then they will go through that insurance details, and there could be a policy effective date and end date. So I could say I'm a person, I'm already holding a insurance, but I have only 31st December is my end date. But every health insurance company will give a grace period to update our insurance effective date. I mean to say active date. So basically, every year they have open enrollment. So where we could go and see their benefits and what will be the deductions, what will be the copay and co-insurance. So once we are paying premium, our policy could active, and they already told us once we are done with everything. And even though in open enrollment, if we are having money, then we could pay 1 year. If you have money, we could pay 5 years also. So if you have, based on our policy, we could pay monthly basis to active our policy. We could pay tertiary basis like 3 months. We could pay half yearly and we could pay yearly. So once we took in a policy, that is our wish to pay the premium to hold a active policy. So coming to copay, coinsurance, deductible, and OOPS. So copay is nothing but it's a fixed amount. I mean to say $20, $30, and $40. Where okay, I am just normal person. I was sick with cold and cough. So even though I'm having health insurance, so I'm directly go to my related hospitals, nearest hospitals, and I'll take my services from the providers. Like I mean to say hospitals. In that case, even I am providing my policy also as per the policy what they mention. If I'm going to office visits, that means general visit. So we are going hospitals within 1 or 2 hours. We'll get service done, and they will give a prescription to take some medicines to recover these things from cough and cold. So in that case, insurance also giving initially the payment, but basically we need to complete this out of pocket services. That means once we are active policy and we are going for a normal visit, that is in US they are calling as office visit. So once we are going there, then we could pay some amount. That means $10 or $20 for the particular service. Okay, doctor is suggesting, okay, you're normal, you don't have that many symptoms which is related to other disease. So you could take this prescription and you could go and you can visit back if you are having any severe issues. Then I am going to the hospital. Basically, a hospital charges without insurance people like $200. But if I am having my own insurance, then if I submitted them, then I need to pay only $20 out of $200. Remaining $180, they will claim their self from our my insurance. So that is the concept of this copay. So initially I need to pay less amount, which is compared to open amount. So the copay defined like it's a fixed amount which is paid by the patient related to the based on the insurance type and the services. And coming to the coins, coins is nothing but co-insurance. They shortly called as coins. So basically, what exactly there happened? Okay, once we already paid the copay, but the service is like surgery, and the surgery has almost $2,000, $1,000, and all. So even insurance company doesn't want to give entire surgery things. Okay, even they are paying our copay almost 80%. Then this co-insurance will come if the dollar amount is high for the particular service. Then they will pay percentage. So as I told just now, like copay is a fixed amount and co-insurance is always percentage, like 80/20, 60/40, 70/30. So that means 80% will be paid by insurance company and 20% will be paid by patient. So if I want to elaborate this co-insurance in a definitive way, I mean to say co-insurance is a percentage always, and which is paid by payer as well as provide. I mean to say patient. That means like coins will be paid by patient as well as like payer. Like insurance company will pay and as well as patient. But in copay only uh, this patient will be paid. That is a fixed amount. Coming to deductible. So deductible is nothing but this is again a fixed amount, and which is paid by patient only. So that means like wherever we got a policy, we are already paying a premium. So we have certain amount in our bucket. So that we called as deductible. Once we are going to render the service, at some services, I could say we are going for any ophthalmologic services, we need to take uh, so ophthalmologic services, some insurance companies will provide us, some is not. So if they are not providing, then we need to pay this deductible and then we need to render the services once we pay the deductible only. So deductible is nothing but it's a fixed amount and it's paid by patient only, and this is always included in out of pocket. Okay, and out of pocket, which is called as oops in shorter way. So we could say out of pocket is nothing but copay plus co-insurance plus deductible. So okay, if we are holding a insurance company, still we are paying copay, co-insurance, deductible. Then what is the use of this health insurance? Everyone can say. So if I take, okay, I am a 60 years old person, I am having BP and even though sugar and all, so I am visiting to the hospitals, I am paying the deductible coins, copay, but still again I need to pay entire the things. So basically these people have almost monthly visits. So what is the reason to take this insurance? So that is the reason this oops concept is came. So basically we paid $1,000 for a insurance company to activate our insurance. So once we almost went to the hospitals 20 times in a year, and we already paid copay, co-insurance, deductible. Yeah, so they in that case after we paying $1,000 for activate our insurance, then again this out of pocket what this is, if again patient is paying more than $2,000, which means 1,000 plus 1,000, then it could be like okay, we'll take care of everything, you doesn't need to pay any copay, co-insurance, deductible. Once they met $2,000, that means additionally they are paying 1,000 plus copay plus co-insurance plus deductible. That means out of pocket is met, then health insurance is committed to pay everything 100% without taking any bug from this, I mean to say, money from patients. So that is the overall concept of this copay, co-insurance, deductible, and out of pocket. Got it, Radhika?
Yeah, man, understood.
Yeah. Any questions?
No, no, Sai.
No.
Okay. So basically, that is the reason they are calling this terminology in the healthcare domain. So in general, wherever we go to hospital, we have admitted over there, and we know right what could be the procedure and all. So once we already done, we are giving the entire things, and still we are paying. What is the reason to take the policy? That is the reason this oops is came into the picture, and that is done by US people. Okay, once we met everything, then they are ready to give everything to patient. So before going to this EMR and EDA transaction, I'll go to the inpatient out of patient network. So that means inpatient network means Okay, as an insurance company, I'm holding one insurance company. I'm giving policy to the patient. So what patient is paying premium to me, and he's holding my insurance. That means ICICI Lombard or LIC or any Arogya Seva, something like that. He's holding my insurance, which is my own insurance. I'm an insurance company. So what I do as an insurance company in the market, I'll go to the providers, which are hospitals. I'll tie up with them. Okay, my patients will may come to your hospital. If you render any service, we can have a tie up because I'm almost holding 10 million people in India, which are covered by my insurance. If you are able to tie up with me, then I'll give you some benefits to you. That means, in general, without having any insurance, if we go to the hospital, he will charge higher charges for everything. But if you are holding my insurance company, because I am tie up with the provider, that means that hospital, we already tie up and we already know that okay, this service have this much, but we can give you as a tie up partner. We can give your patients which you are having your insurance. We can give you this much amount. And even though in that case, wherever we are already providing standard procedure, standard operation procedure to the provider, saying like, hey, for exam visit, like I mean to say, normal physician or surgeon, if you want to, your patient want to go to the any surgeon, we can charge you $100. But if this guy is having our tie-up insurance, so we can charge only $50. Out of $50, patient has to pay only $20. Remaining $30 will pay by payer because that patient having my insurance. So that is the reason wherever this insurance company is having tie-up with their providers, which means hospitals or small clinics, labs, ambulatory services, and even home health care, everything we are tie up in the market who is providing health services. So there could be come across as a called as in-network services. That means in-network services will have tie-up insurance companies. I mean to say every insurance company has in-network hospitals or in-network providers. So coming to out of network, the description would saying like yeah, they are the independent providers. They are not tie up with their open market insurance. They charge their own self. In that case also, we'll provide our services if in emergency cases patient doesn't look that is in network or out of network. So in that case, as per the insurance policy, we cover out of network also, but there could be a different thing. Like I mean to say, if you go to out of network, then you need to pay higher copay. That means like they are charging $100 per visit, but as an insurance company for out of network also will provide only $50 because we are not tie up with them. In that case, in that $50, you need to pay $50. As an insurance company, I'll pay you $100 because those are not tie up with us. So that is the reason we could call it as in network, which means tie up companies, out of network, which are not tie up company. So I am staying in Texas, and I want to go California or any other state, but still I am holding my insurance. In that case, if you are locating somewhere and in you are having any emergency services and you have planned surgery services, yeah, you just go and take the services from them, but we'll definitely sure to pay you as you are our partner, I could say, customer. Then we are ready to serve you, but not related to in-network benefits. If you want to go any state, but just search in our portal to take any hospital which are in network. If you are not able to take, yeah, we are ready to serve for the same, but with the higher charges. So that is the reason as an insurance company, they need to check for their revenue generation. They come up with the scenarios called as in network and out of network. Okay, any questions on this, Radhika and Shiva?
No,
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 sir.
Sai.
Okay, great. Then coming to EMR and electronic health record, EMR is nothing but electronic medical record. EHR is nothing but electronic health record. So what exactly this EMR and EHR? So basically in India, wherever we go previously 10 years back when we are in childhood and we have some like cough and cold or any other surges we happened, right? So we just took light. I mean to say, we don't know where the documents are stored and where we are done. So basically, even in our past days, we don't have these systems and storage and all. But in US, they are completely planned. So when we are growing up, so they will capture everything. So because I'm a patient, I am sick in the age of 10 years because of asthma or some other anything. So after 25 years, if I go to any network hospital or out of network hospital, they have their own database, which is open network, but that is confidential for everyone. Okay, so I'm done. I'm staying in Texas. I have services. I have rendered my services in the age of 10th. But after all of sudden, in the age of 25, again I have got that asthma again. So again, I'm holding a insurance company. I'm taking other services from other vendor, but he want to know patient history. What exactly happened? He'll definitely ask, okay, this is your first time it's happening for you, or else did you get this asthma before in your childhood? Yeah, of course he will say, yeah, I don't know exactly the date, but yes, in the age of my 10th, I got the things. So definitely he'll request to this open source, which is electronic health record. As a doctor, I want to see patient history. Okay, what exactly happened initially, where he's born, and what exactly happened for him, and what their doctors done before, which injections are they have used, which drugs are they have used. All of a sudden, after 15 years, why he got this issue, and what exactly happened. He has having any smoking issues. So everything he want to have a detailed prescription. Then he will, as a doctor, as a specialist, I want to know about entire patient history. So he will request for a health record for the particular that is open source. So once there will be a code will be there, that is EDI transaction. So there they could store everything. Once he log with this ID, then he will, as a doctor, he will only see this patient history. So based on that, he will definitely provide current prescription. Okay, what exactly the older service they have given. So he went for primary care physician, which means like MBBS guy, and specialist is nothing but PG, who is holding PG. Like there are specialists in, I mean to say, cardiologists are there, endocrinologist is there, nephrologist there. So there we could call it as specialist in healthcare domain. PCP is nothing but primary care physician who are done only MBBS degree. Okay, so that means like physical therapy comes in PCP and normal doctors will comes in PCP. In India, we could call it as BMS doctors. So those are comes in PCP. So that is the reason this EMR and EHR comes into the picture. Wherever you go in US, they will definitely capture your information, and they will capture this information their own database. If anyone requested, they are ready to provide with your confirmation. I mean to say, as you are a patient, we don't want to disclose these things with anyone. If you are ready to disclose with anyone, then we will definitely call you and ask you for your permission to disclose your information to the particular provider. So that is the reason this EMR, EHR will comes into the picture. Okay, health record is nothing but entire history. EMR is nothing but whatever your current procedure, electronic medical record. So wherever we don't have any paperwork, we'll have only database, like soft copies, I could say. Entire data would be there. They will definitely capture in their own portal, and they will publish whenever anyone is required. And they have own open sources, which is secured one. Okay, there could be have a EDA transactions. So here in I have worked in EDA transactions. EDA nothing but we have mainframes where open sources only could, who are eligible for that, they could log in with their own credential on behalf of the patient to see the EMR and EHR records. So basically EDA, like before 10 years back, we don't have this much of technology. So they simply write in paper and they upload as a scanner. They are used scanner and they upload the document. But now we are entering everything. So that is the reason this EDA transactions are comes into picture. What these mainframes or EDA transaction do, you know, after we uploading that PDF or that paper, this will convert as a text. That is a simpler example I want to give. Because based on the technology, this EDA can be updated, and whatever currently we are passing after 10 years also, we don't have this much technology. We have a lot of improvements in it. So these EDA transactions will definitely convert their right now technology to upgrade with current systems. So before that we have bigger systems. Now we are holding laptops. So that time they used only whatever the sources they have. But these EDA helping of these EDA transactions, every file format could be converted as right now technology, which means they want to convert as EDA, PDF, HTML, HML, CSV, anything, whatever they want to use in their systems, this EDA transaction will convert and give to the current technology what provider want to take with the format type. So that is the importance of this EMR, EHR, and EDA transactions. Any questions?
No, yeah, understood. This means even if it's emergency, also they'll keep that record in EMR or
Yes.
EHR.
Yes. In emergency situations also, once I have an accident, but I'll definitely have my identity based on my SSN number. They will definitely call to police involved in there. They definitely call to their parents, and then after that they will provide, like, hospitals will know, right, who's this guy, where he's staying. At least they can know who's this name, what is his name, and they will definitely get their SSN number.
Okay,
Correct?
okay.
So they definitely do these things. That is the act basically. Everyone has to follow as per this HIPAA. So I'll tell you those what the HIPAA can do and what is the rules and regulations over there.
Okay.
Okay. Moving to next topic. So wherever you go, you have plans in health insurance based on the premium. So that is the reason in US also they have considered different plans, which is HMO and PPO and Medicare and Medicaid. Okay. So HMO and PPO, I'll go first. HMO is nothing but Health Maintenance Organization, and PPO is nothing but Preferred Provider Organization. So in HMO, what I told you before, this only covers in network hospitals. Like I want to go a HMA policy, so that means this will only useful for in network hospitals. Okay, I am holding a HMA policy. I am in a Texas. There is one hospital. You could say Yashoda or you could say Apollo. So those are my in-network hospitals as per the policy. So I am holding HMO. So I'll definitely go to this their hospitals. I'll render the service and I'll come back to pay co-pay co-insurance as per the policy. Okay. This is the policy. So if I am holding HMO, I want to go out of network. In that case, our insurance won't pay anything. They will definitely say, as you are holding initially HMO policy, we are not giving as per the policy for out of network service. Like I want to go other than Yashoda Apollo, then it's patient responsibility to pay anything everything as per the policy. So while taking HMO, PPO, Medicare, Medicaid, there is a person, he'll definitely pitch in the benefits regarding this, which are hospitals are in network, which are not, and they have their own individual portals. We can go and log in with their credential, and they will see what are the in network and out of network hospitals. So HMO simple as that. HMO is nothing but health maintenance organization who is always trying to tie up with in-network hospitals only. And here we are having high copay because they are having only in-network. Okay, sorry, we are having only less copay here. And coming to PPO plans is nothing preferred provider organization. So as a patient, I'm 60 years old guy. So in that stage, I'll definitely go with PPO policy because I'm not sure which is in network and out of network. But in general, I'm holding PPO policy which have higher premium as well as higher copay. So basically, this plan will cover for entire in network, out of network, which means the insurance company have which are having a tie-up or not tie-up the hospitals also, he'll go and render the services freely. Basic pay would be like copay, co-insurance, deductible. So that is the reason in open market every plan, whatever you want to name it, but that plan could be named with HMO or PPO first. So after that you could include any names whatever you want to take. But at least in open market, as per the HIPAA policy, we need to mention this is comes under HMO, this is comes under PPO plans. So that is the terminology they are using in their policies. So coming to Medicare, okay, in US, not like India. So I'm a person, I'm not having that much financial support. Even I'm not, I'm a daily wage person. So in that case, what state services, I want to say, in Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu or Texas or California, any state what they have done. So as per Obama, what he said, okay, some people have not having that much financial sources. Then in that case, we'll provide as a government, will provide a Medicare policy. That means below poverty line who are not able to pay this uh, money as a health insurance. Yes, we are ready to pay Medicare and Medicaid service. Medicaid is nothing but who are under the below poverty line. That means very poor. So in that case, government will give you the Medicaid policy to the particular persons. And coming to Medicaid, especially Medicaid have some certain things. Medicare is nothing but there are certain things. One is like who are having 65 years of age, like above 65 years only, they are ready to take this Medicare policy because even government is helping to this Medicare. Initially they won't give, but after 65, yes, government is helping to the senior citizens who are 65 plus above age. They are they are eligible to take they take this Medicare services. And coming to the next thing, ESRD diseases. ESRD is nothing but end renal diseases. So which means like in so they doesn't need any age criteria because they are having someone having in 25 with sugar, okay, and even someone having liver failure. We don't know, right? It may come after 60, before 20, or initially 10 also, 10 years also. So we don't know. Whatever the things happen in that case, government want to help as a policy member, and the government is contributing to this by giving the Medicare policy to that persons. So if I'm a person, I'm having liver failure, so I need to take care entire my service, some tablets or some services or some surgeries. Then in government they are helping by this who are having ESRD diseases. So there are certain diseases which comes under ESRD, so they are segregated as one name. That means end surgery renal diseases. So who are having ESRD, they are eligible to take care Medicare, and the other criteria is like who are having 65 and above. I'm into say senior citizens, they will eligible to take care this Medicare because uh, this Medicare will payable by state government and central government. Okay, wherever the state they live, they will contribute something, and wherever this country they live, country like entire central will be contribute for the same with different percentage. And coming to the Medicaid, as simple as that, poor people who are under below poverty line, they are not capable to take this insurance, then they will go for Medicaid, and the government only giving the Medicaid policy as like Arogyasri in our India. So that they are called as Medicaid. Okay. Any questions on this, Radhika?
Okay, you said Medicare is also for below poverty, more than 65
No,
years. Medicaid for all below poverty people.
no. For Medicaid is like only for below poverty line. Medicare is like above age of 65 plus years, and who are having ESRD diseases.
Okay, Medicaid for all the people who is in below poverty line without
Yes.
any age uh,
Yes. Yes.
criteria.
Any age criteria. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions, Shiva? Okay. So I
Nothing,
think he may
nothing,
be
man.
busy.
Nothing, nothing. I was
Okay.
speaking on mute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I need to go through
coming
the
to
training again. Your videos.
Paka. Paka. So coming to, I'll go with the open enrollment, HIPAA and AMA. Why? Because this is in depth of things. So what HIPAA, as I told you, Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act. What exactly this HIPAA do? So I'm a wealthy person in US. I want to open any insurance company. So I'll definitely open and I'll give my services. But anyone can open insurance company, but they need to follow this HIPAA guidelines, and they need to take certification from them as a provider, as a payer also. So that is the reason. After Obama came, then he given a GO in their government, giving this is HIPAA is the committee or act. They can do all the insurance activities where they can have a guidelines. So we have a portal also. If they want to give any additional guideline, they will definitely release in their official portal. So what exactly this could do? Okay, as per the HIPAA policy, first could be data privacy. I mean to say, as a person, I am holding insurance company. I have given my entire things like SSN number, my personal information, as well as my health information to one of the insurance company, because they are providing me services like health services. So in that case, that data should not be available in open market, and that data should not be going without any authorization from the patient to any other vendors or providers, and that data would be have definite security in so like I mean to say, some people will take and do some stuff, right? So that is the reason, if they are doing anything right, they will definitely I mean to say penalized, or I mean to say they will charge something. So that is the reason this HIPAA is may come into the picture to protect the data, as well as patient information, as well as electronic health record information to this. And even though what is the price of this HIPAA also controlled. So I'm a wealthy person, I can give you the health insurance with my own premium things. So that will not work. There will be a particular slabs which is handled by HIPAA also. So suppose like in Reliance, they are giving their own geo services to the members. But we have one committee in India also where they could see the slabs. We don't want to go upon 1,000 rupees for 3 months policy. So or 600 rupees. So even they will come with the same way. Like, okay, you are a wealthy person and you want to give service to the people, you are giving insurance and all. Okay, you can take it, but you always check my guidelines. There will be a price slab also. Beyond that, they won't go as per the HIPAA policy. So that is the reason again HIPAA came into the picture to controlling the price as well as data privacy. And again, as per the HIPAA, wherever you join in a healthcare company, then as each and every person coming to the processor, developer, RM, PM, CEO, everyone has to take this HIPAA policy guidelines, where is a mandatory when you are involved in any health insurance domain. Even though as provider side also, their employees has to take this HIPAA guidelines or HIPAA training. So what exactly they do, they can explain how important could be the HIPAA and what is the HIPAA, what HIPAA can do, what is the importance of this data privacy and the price control and all. Every person should can go through this HIPAA training that is mandate for everyone who are working in healthcare domain. That is doctor, provider, or I mean to say payer, insurance company, claims adjudicator, processor, enrollment team member. Anywhere he has to take the training to understand what this policy can do, how we can protect the patient data. So that is another mandatory thing we need to go for HIPAA. So that is the reason we already did that HIPAA course. Hope you remember. And coming to Obamacare Act, Obama in that name only telling like before 1996, where Obama came as a president, there is no mandate to take health insurance. Who are having money, they can take health insurance. Who are not, they their wish, as like India now. But in US, after Obama came, then he provided as a act saying like everyone must take insurance policy. If you are not able to take also, government will help you in terms of Medicaid and Medicare policy. Okay, so that is the reason Obama came into the picture, and after that, this healthcare came into the picture. After that, there is a huge revenue is generating because of these healthcare industries. So still, every company is looking for any healthcare project because of this Obamacare Act. So even government in US as well as companies are investing a lot on this healthcare. Even though whenever we are going to join in any company in US, even their company also providing healthcare policies. So they are giving like even though we are working right, they will provide some insurance to us. Same like in healthcare in US also, they will have their own employees get it insured in terms of anything. And there could be a slabs again. Like company will pay 10,000 rupees per year, they will get benefit only 5 lakhs coverage. If you want to go higher, then we need to pay again extra 10,000, then we can get 10 lakhs coverage. So based on our criteria, we can go ahead for premium things. So that is the thing. And what is AMA? AMA is nothing but American Medical Association, which is handling the CPT code, procedure code, diagnosis code, revenue codes, place of service, ICD 9 and ICD 10 and the HL 7 codes. So what exactly these things I'll go next. And coming to the open enrollment. Okay. So even we are having in Myntra and Amazon festival offers. Same like in uh, US, they are having open enrollment is an offer period where every year in the December midweek to February second week, that festival will go, and there will be open enrollment where everyone can see their effective date and end date, and they want to go on any other insurance company. I could say there could be a Aetna is there and an Anthem is there. These are the healthcare companies which are having huge huge branches in US. Aetna and Anthem, Wellpoint. I remember these names only. So they are the payers, which means insurance companies. So that is the reason open enrollment is nothing but that is like health insurance festival. So where you can go and take as per your policy, as per your requirement. So they could provide some benefits in this time period. Okay. And if you are not taking the policy also, they will definitely charge you as the additional payment. I could say penalty. That is different thing. As per government policy also, if the person is wealthy and he is still not able to take the health policy, then even insurance company will provide you a penalty after this open enrollment. So that means every person must take the policy. If he extended the timeline also he's not taking them, then they will take a penalty for the same. That is additional thing we need to know. Any questions on this HIPAA, Obamacare Act, AMA and open enrollment?
Hey, can you come again with what's that AMA?
American Medical Association.
Okay.
Good man. Going in depth.
మనకున్నది మనకు చెప్పాలిగా.
Like it's very informative, Sai.
ఏం ఇన్ఫర్మేటివ్ ఏమో మనకు ఆపర్చునిటీ వచ్చేది రావట్లేదు. ఓకే. So coming to life cycle of a claim. What exactly claim? Okay, any questions, Radhika?
No, Sai. No questions from me.
Okay, I'll complete before 2:20. Okay, not to take it long. So claim life cycle is nothing but where exactly claim will start and where exactly claim will end and where claim exactly reopen again. So claim is nothing but we are while taking any service we are giving a paperwork, I mean to say proof. So what is the services we have took and what exactly the payer is paid and what is the additional payment done by the patient. So everything will be captured in a claim. So that is the reason claim comes into picture. So where the claim is exactly processed. So as a patient, so I went to hospital, there could be a open enrollment. So I mean to say enrollment team. What enrollment team do? So in general, I'm going to hospital. So I'm in a lobby. I'm waiting for something. So and there is a receptionist there who knows everything about the enrollment. So once we have provided our insurance and SSN number, our personal details to them, then she will definitely or he will definitely check with us what is the problem and all. So based on that, she will guide us to take our insurance details and enter into their system, opening a claim. So claim would be start from there. So after enrollment, what exactly she take? Only patient demographic information. That means age, sex, gender, name, SSN number, insurance policy, everything comes in her demographic profile. And whatever she have took from the patient, then she will forward to the internal team to for PCP. Okay, if I'm a patient, I'm having only cold and cough. So in that case, she will tell us go for MBBS doctor first. Okay, so what she told, okay, we are having PCPs. We are having PCPs, just go whatever the PCPs we are having. So she will allocated a appointment for us. Then patient will go as per the appointment. It could be like telephonic. It could be like direct visiting to the office. I mean to hospital. It could be like going to the website and the patient can give their information in the portal, and he could able to appoint it as per his availability for the visiting to the hospital. And nowadays there is a telemedicine concept came into the picture because of COVID. And even though after providing this insurance details to into the portal, they will allocate as per the timings, and as a patient he can go with his availability to select any doctor, and after his appointment confirmed, then they will come into a video call and they will guide you information by providing the prescription to WhatsApp or email communication out. So that is the reason telemedicine is came into the picture. Even though in India we are having Practo, Healthify and all, where we can go and have our doctor appointments for particular reasons. So we can have specialist and normal MBBS also. So that is the additional information I want to provide. So so as a enrollment team member, she opened a claim and she took the patient demographic file and she suggested PCP. Okay. After that, on the availability of the doctor and patient, they go to the PCP. That means he's a doctor, but he's not a specialist. So he's a MBBS. Okay, by going their patient things like he's having cold and cough and all. Okay, he'll suggest, okay, take this medicines and all. But if he is not able to understand what exactly patient is going for, so I mean to say he's having chest pain. Okay, he knows like he may need to approach specialist. In that case, a referral come into the picture. Okay, referral come into the picture. So PCP. So in here, what we can do in India. So wherever we are having chest pain, when we'll directly go to the cardiologist. But not in US. They has to go for PCP first. Then only once we get the referral to the specialist, then only they can approach to the specialist. Okay, specialist is nothing but who is done their PG degree in particular part. I mean to say cardiology will having more exposure on heart, something like that. So specialist come into the picture. So as a patient, PCP is given a referral. So what I am telling, everything will be captured in a claim. So who is the PCP? Because PCP will take their charges as well as after referral, even though specialist will take their charges. That is the reason we are capturing everything into the claim. So after PCP suggested and referred another doctor which is specialist, again on their availability, specialist can take care of everything of the patient. Okay, I'm the person having chest pain. So once specialist also are not able to understand, he need to go for report. Like he need to have ECG, he need to have X-ray to understand what exactly the patient could be. So he will guide to the clinics or radiologists to have some test for this patient. So he will refer ECG, X-ray, any other reports to understand what exactly patient having. So again, labs or radiologists or radiology service centers come into the picture. Then this report will go to their clinics, and even patient will go to their clinic and having that X-ray and ECG. After they get the report, then again patient will come to the specialist. Same way we are following in India also. So after specialist, after specialist, then he can know. Okay, after he go through that what exactly things happen. Okay, this person may have surgery for heart because he's having chest pain, as well as I can see there is a blocks in heart. So specialist is the person, he knows, right? Okay, this person may have heart attack issues in future, so this person may have to take that blocks to clear. So as ever he studied, he want to do surgery to that patient. So again that need a operation theater, and patient has to stay in hospital at least one day or two days. So in that case, again there is a consultant come to the picture, and he will guide what will be the procedure. Consultant. Okay, what this consultant do? We could say medical consultant. So he will explain the things what patient will go. Okay, he after he confirm that okay you have blocks in heart. Okay, you need to go the surgery. So by the surgery, how this will be, and who will be there in the hospital, how many days it could be, how many days you need to stay in the hospital, and entire thing will explain by this consultant to the patient. Because in that stage, a patient may be fear because of the surgery and all, but consultant will explain entire things, how this operation gonna happen, how it will be. So this consultant is useful, and he is a chargeable person also in the hospital only. Then again, once he is going to the surgery up to 2 days or above 2 days. Why I'm telling above 2 days, I'll tell you. So there is another terminology is there. After 24 hours or 48 hours, they could be called as inpatient, outpatient. I'll tell you the terminology. So basically, so after he stayed in a hospital and he cured, and he went to home by giving discharge letter. But entire this process in surgery, they have given anesthesia injections and they have given drugs, everything to the patient, and everything could be captured by this consultant, even though they would have their own system to enter everything. So this person is discharged, and even though he is ready to take any ambulatory services also, they can provide to patient has to go to their home. This is a normal scenario I may explain. There could be multiple scenario in emergency cases, in general visit, mm, I know planned surgery. So there would be a multiple scenarios are there, but I'll go with these things. So if you see here, so as a provider, I want to pay a specialist doctor salary. I need to pay PCP salary. I need to pay enrollment team salary. I need to pay radiologist salary. I need to pay clinical salary, hospital charges, bed charges, anesthesia doctor charges, even drugs charges after the discharge, this ambulatory charges, everything has to bear by the provider. So what he do, so he will enter in the claim every details. How he enter? So there could be a multiple claims. I could say that is inpatient claim and one is outpatient claim. As you know, we can see OP. OP is nothing but outpatient. IP is nothing but inpatient. So what it could be basically, outpatient is nothing but who is staying only below 48 hours. Like I am a person, I am going to the hospital. I don't have any minor major surgeries. It would done by only 1 day, and 1 day will be observation or rest. Then I will be out of hospital. So that case, this entire procedure will come as a out of patient, outpatient. What exactly the inpatient? Okay, I'm a person. I'm having say a major surgeries, so I need to stay back in hospital about 24 hours. They can consider as an inpatient. That means 48 hours and above. If the patient is in hospital, they can consider as an inpatient. So even though in claims we are having different claims, that is professional claims and institutional claims. Professional is nothing but which deals with outpatient claims, and institutional is nothing but which deals with inpatient. So we have different claim form also, that is CMS 1500, which the hospitals need to fill the information for outpatient claims, and for inpatient claims, institutional claims, they need to use UB04 as per the guidelines which is given by AMA and HIPAA. So these claims has to be useful to understand insurance company. Okay, patient gone through inpatient. That is the reason they have submitted the claim into UB04 format. And if patient has done outpatient, that is the reason patient came up with CMS 1500. Okay. So that is the reason every claim must be input in different file format, that is UB04 CMS 1500. Okay, if anyone asks like what is the CMS 1500, like that is a outpatient claim. If anyone asks what is the UB04, that means inpatient, which means the patient is almost stay in almost 48 hours and above. Okay, that is the procedure. They will capture entire the things in claims. Any doubts till now?
No, sir.
Okay, great then. I'll go next. Okay, by doing entire the things, how they can give. Okay, if I want to give in surgery, I have given in heart. I told right. I have given heart surgery, and if any other person, they will give some other surgery, liver surgery. There could be a multiple surgeries like right fetal, left fetal, right heart, left heart. So go into the depth description. So that the reason codes are involved here, which is dealt by AMA, American Medical Association, that is ICD. There could be a version 9 and ICD 10. So this is the latest version they are following to enter in a claim form by using these codes. ICD is nothing but International Configuration for Disease. So whatever the disease patient having, as per the coding system, they need to use their Bible. I could say ICD 9 is older version, ICD 10 is newer version. After checking the code, they need to enter in a claim form like having this code. So what could be the codes? That CPT. CPT is nothing but current procedure terminology. I'll tell you 99214. This is office visit. Okay. 35614. This is surgery related. Okay. For ambulatory services, code will start with 0. For laboratory services, code will start with 8. Lab or clinic. Okay. In urgent care, code will start with 9. So basically, whatever the codes will start with 1 to 7, those will comes under surgery. What will start with the 9, that would be like office visit and laboratory. I mean to say urgent care. So there are different terminology codes are there, which is captured in ICD 9 and ICD 10. Based on the CPTs, they can enter. So again here, hope you heard this medical coding department. Come into the picture, they can know what exactly doctor has done based on the prescription. They will enter there into the database before sending to the claim to payer. Okay. So once captured everything and medical coders are enter their medical coding system into our claims, then again, okay, this CPT talks about only what this person is having. Okay, CPT's codes are done. So what about the place of service? Where this exactly happen? In hospital, they are given the services. In ambulatory, they are given the services. In emergency services, they are given the services. In home only, they went to a patient place and they have given the services. Then place of services come into the picture. There could be codes are there always. 21 means inpatient and 22 means outpatient. 24 means ambulatory, 20 means urgent care services, and 11 will be office visit. So I know these codes, basically that is the reason. So based on these codes, we can know what is the place of service, even though medical coder enter with this information based on the place of service. Okay, what could be the procedure code? What exactly it could be? So procedure codes and CPT codes are same basically, but even though these procedure codes will tell us to the medical departments who are already learned about this ICD 910, these code will tell, okay, for example, I am a person, I got an accident for my right side leg. In that case, if medical coder want to go in depth, they will add as RT as a modifier. So based on that, okay, if he enter only leg, that means which leg he got fractured. So that is the reason this modifier will say that, okay, these guys have a right side leg fracture. That is the reason he admitted in the hospital. He rendered the services. So this is in depth. So just this could explain. Okay, what is the diagnosis code? Diagnosis code is nothing but what is the procedure they went for. So even every disease they have different procedure or different diagnosis. Okay. Yeah, so I'm a person, I'm going to a heart surgery. Before that, this person has to take this saline and this person has to take this heparin injection because while taking a surgery, blood could be clot. So in that case, a doctor has to give in the heparin injection to don't like I mean to say to avoid the clot of blood. So that is the reason, even though they want to specify the things how the diagnosis happened. Okay, that is the reason diagnosis code into the picture. And coming to the revenue codes, basically revenue code says like inpatient, outpatient. I told right that the only difference between the patient, inpatient, outpatient is like format of the claim form, as well as where we can have revenue codes only in inpatient claim, not in outpatient claim. There could be a 011, 088, 022. So based on this one revenue codes also, payer can understand, okay, this is a inpatient claim, and that is without having any revenue code, that could be a outpatient claim. We could call it as a professional claim also. Okay, so that is the reason these codes are very important uh, to understand the procedure, to understand the terminology before paying to the claim. So they must in a provider they'll definitely have a medical coders. Whatever they done, they have to descript and they have to enter the correct code before they are claiming to the insurance company. If they are giving any other things, right, definitely insurance company will deny the claim with the proper reason. I'll go with the next term. So okay, done. From provider end, everything is completed. So provider submitted claim to payer. So here we have seen only in provider wise. Now payer comes into picture. Payer received a claim to their portal. Okay, what happened from payer side now? So now this is one cinema, I could say one story, and after we are getting a claim from payer, there is other cinema. So what exactly? So there could be a claim examiner. Always payer will see in depth while paying anything. So they can see patient address is there or not. They could see services are correctly mentioned or not, and they could see there would be a authorizations are involved. There could be a referrals are involved. Who are the PCP? Who are the specialist? What surgeries are done? And which injections are given? Which drugs are given? And what exactly the procedure happened, and what are the clinics they went for radiology things like labs and all. Okay, and when he was discharged, and when the states are effective, and is policies active or not. Okay, if claim examiner will check everything, okay, everything is satisfied, then this will go to the next, like procedure of procedure of the claim. Like he is the person who will check entire the thing, the code is correctly mentioned or not. If the code is not mentioned, then this claim is denied by the insufficient information. Okay, whatever I showed, okay, if this claim is doesn't have patient information, we can deny it for patient information. So we could say in denial also, every organization or every insurance company have their own denial codes where which are already communicated to the patient. I mean to say provider. So one they get this okay, I could say for patient PACT 001, that means this claim doesn't have patient information. Same like this whatever they have doubt, they will definitely deny entire claim because of the reason. So again that claim could be go to the payer provider side, then again they will provide the proper information, then again they will a claim examiner will check what are the information needed, then they will go to the next procedure. Okay, everything is correct, then we are ready to give the payment to the provider in certain 15 to 20 days. There could be a time lapse also. If we are taking beyond time, still we are not processing, then in that case we need to pay interest for the same. So this is again government policy which is handled by HIPAA. Okay. Okay, I'm a person, I'm already given services and even I'm provided a valid documents to them. Still they are not processing, they are keep it with them. In that case, that is payer mistake. They have to pay interest on that. So that is additional information I'm giving here. So that could be a different scenario. Okay. In this case, in examiner, okay, claim is paid correctly, but provider is telling like claim is underpaid. Sometimes claim is overpaid because of claim examiner overlook. There will be a multiple reasons or system issues. So what exactly claim underpaid and overpaid would be like? So basically we need to pay only $100 to the payer, but we paid only $90. There could be multiple scenarios. So again, provider said like, okay, this claim is underpaid. Instead of paying $100, you paid $90 as per our tie-up policy. So what could be the reason? So he'll mention the things whatever we have given in the claim. So you paid only less dollar to me. Please recheck again. Again it come back to the payer. Then again it sees what could be the things happen. Okay, if yes, that mistake is done by us, then we are ready to give plus $10. By reviewing again, then again it will go to the claim examiner, then again it will go to the next procedure level. Yes, if agree, then as per the policy, we need to give $10 again without interest. Okay. And if still we are going beyond the timeline, then we need to pay interest on this $10. And what is if we are paid claim? So in this case, in US, they'll say, okay, as per the policy, we need to pay only $100, but in mistakenly you paid $110. We want to recheck again. Again, provider only can send the claim, and even though by auditing in internally, then they could find out this overpaid things. Then they will send back to the claim to provider to check to take this additional $10. So there could be a overpaid claims and underpaid claims. Okay, that is done. So final process could be claims adjudication. Okay, this entire what is underpaid and overpaid comes in the adjudications. That means we are adjusting some amount. That means okay, claim is underpaid or overpaid. So these claim adjudication associates are there. Then they can check the policy, what exactly the billing amount, what we are paid before, and what we exactly need to pay, and is there any denials again. Okay, that is the reason this claim adjudicator can do authorizations, referrals, overpaid claims, inpatient claims, high dollar claims. So they have segregated in different terms. That could be another lesson. And I mean to say huge topic. So coming to authorization and referrals. I'm already told referral. So if PCP is suggesting specialist, then only claim would be processed, or else claim should be denied for referral code. What about authorization? Okay, so I'm a patient. I doesn't have that major surgeries, but I am having some issues in my knee. So I want to go a general surgery as per suggested by specialist. In that case, I want to give prior intimation to my provider saying like, hey, I'm going to have this surgery in next month. Could you please give me the authorization so that I can go and have my surgery? Then I'll get it done. So in that case, I am a person as a patient. I'll definitely approach my insurance company. Please give me the authorization because as you mentioned, if you want to go any surgery, you people say like you will pay entire the things. In that case, I'll send a formal request to that patient. Even I'll say like, okay, I'll go through this hospital and this specialist and this PCP and these clinics. Please pay for them. Once we get an authorization, then I will go to that hospital by taking this authorization form. Then I'll admit their hospital and that surgery get it done. So that is the importance of authorization to get an authorization. So there could be a multiple different authorization, that is pre-authorization, auto authorization, post authorization. Pre-authorization is nothing but what I have explained now scenario, and prior author like post authorization is nothing but I am a person, I'm already have an accident in emergency cases. I doesn't want to take any authorization and all. So after that, they will provide you authorization because there is an emergency situation. Okay. Auto authorization is nothing but which are the services is related. Then the auto authorization comes into the picture. Then automatically payer would be giving the authorization to the particular scenarios. Okay, I have already explained this claim denials. I have already explained this claim adjudication, and I have already explained this ICD 9 and ICD 10. We have only two topics I need to cover. Okay, I'll explain. Before that, any questions, Radhika and Shiva? Not more than 7 minutes.
No, no, no. We're good, Sai.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Coming to EOB and COB. What is EOB? EOB is nothing but explanation of benefits, and COB is nothing but coordination of benefits. Okay. So as I got a claim and that is paid, and but provider is not able to understand what he paid and all. So that time, this is explanation of benefits. Here they have particular codes where explain the entire things. So the terminology, it could say explanation of benefits. Okay, as per our tie-up for this service, the open market it could be $100, but as per our tie-up it could be $80. So this EOB can explain how much amount paid by the patient, how much amount paid by the payer, and out of that, how much amount there is a discount. So I could say in out of $100 as per a tie-up, we are paying as a payer $80. So $20 could be discount, and out of $80, $20 paid by the patient and $60 paid by the payer. So those information could be explained by this EOB. Okay, where they can enter this code and they can explain each and everything. They will definitely give a EOB information to the provider after processing the claim. What exactly the COB? Coordination of benefits. Okay, coordination is nothing but if some surgeries have different type of surgeries. Okay, which is like dependent, I could say. If I want to go for right side hand surgery, I need to go entire surgery, or else in particular place only. If I want to go entire surgery, I need to go for general anesthesia. No, there is only I need to go only on particular place. In that case, only they can give particular anesthesia. So there might be a charges different. In that case, explanation of benefits in terms of coordination. What exactly the thing happened in the particular surgery? This COB could explain what exactly happened to the patient in particular area, what exactly services are done. So this coordination benefits can explain. Okay, for individual service we have built for this one, especially right hand, right palm, like hand for the palm, and right I mean to say index finger. So particularly they can mention and they can explain the benefits for the particular service. So that is the reason COB is also important to submit by the provider. So basically, interviewer will definitely ask this question: where EOB could be involved, where COB could be involved, who will submit this? EOB could submit by the payer, COB could submit by the provider. Okay. And our final topic would be HL7. HL7 is nothing but health level 7 codes. So where exactly this health level 7 codes involved in EDI transaction? As I told you, basically, so there will be multiple formats. We are not able to understand. Okay, we are updated after 10 years. We are updated with ICD 10 or 11, or sorry, ICD 19 or 20 after 10 years. But before they are going with the patient information where ICD 9 is involved that time. So in that case, HL7 is updated day by day by going with older version as well as newer version. Then by inputting the HL7 code, this EDI transaction will explain that okay, before 10 years they have used ICD 9. Right now we are in 2030, we are using ICD 20. So in that time they have used this 9 by using this HL7 information. Okay, that time they have used for this description. Now that can be considered and that can be divided as ICD 20. That could be other code. These HL7 give every information in EDI transaction processing time. Yeah, that is the overall concept. If I want to go depth, that could be ocean. Like there could be like multiple roles. I could say enrollment team is there, coding team is there, processing team is there, adjudication team is there, payment posting team is there. revenue cycle management is there, consultants is there, doctors is there. So here patient is not doing anything, provider only doing everything to input their claim. So in there is rare cases even though patient could claim their own claim to the payer. So that means he need to enter the things what he did and whatever all the things happen in one claim form, that is patient claim form, which is directly sent by the patient instead of provider. That is a very rare case. That is additional information I could say. Yeah, that's all. Radhika and Shiva. In basic.
Great, Sai. Superb. It's like very informative. Sai, can you do one thing? So if you can save this video and share that in our drive, that would be helpful for future reference as well.
Pakka, man.
Yeah, we
Radhika
have.
can do.
Yeah, Radhika, just save it and share that in our Google Drive.